Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program we set for the conversation. And today we're going to be looking at maritime education in Nigeria, bridging the gap for the next generation of maritime professionals. And we're doing this because there's a need for us to really ginger this aspect of the Nigerian economy so that we can build capacity and ensure that things continue to thrive. And joining me on the phone line this morning is a great friend of the house, Captain Fola Ojutalayo is a senior lecturer, Federal College of Fisheries and Marine Technology. It's nice to have you join us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And
how are you doing today?
Very good, very good. Compliment of the season to you.
I wish you the same and our audience the same.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So let's talk about maritime education in Nigeria. You've been there for several years, and a lot of times we've always been, taking a sip from your pool of wealth of the industry. So let's reflect on maritime education. How would you assess it in Nigeria?
Well, so far so good. Maritime education in Nigeria is still evolving. The country is trying its best to ensure that every area of maritime education is developed up to its full capacity. But be it as it may, shipping industry as it is, or the entirety of the maritime industry, is a technologically driven industry. So there is no end to learning, and there is no end to innovation in the industry.
Right. And
so for us, what we need to be doing is to be meeting up with the trend, the technological trend, management trend, operational trend in the industry.
Great.
But we are not there yet. We still have a lot of room for improvement. The nation is trying its best as it is now, but we have a lot of room for improvement. That best, I will say, is not yet enough.
Right. And, drawing from that assessment, really, I know that the current administration did set up a ministry that will be solely in charge of marine and blue economy. Let's put it in proper perspective. But do we have enough institutions that will be able to keep this ministry running?
Well, as for our institution, fair enough, we have the basics that we need to progress as a nation. I will say that. What we need to do is to strengthen the existing one and to enhance them in such a way that they will be able to maximize their capability of what they are set up to achieve. So as at present, we have the institution. Of course, we don't need to do a lot of duplication here and there. As far as maritime education is concerned, the two federal government-owned maritime institutions that we have in the country still needs a lot of upgrading. They are trying their best. There's nowhere the products from the two institutions go all over the world that they cannot raise their shoulder high. Okay. And they are one of the best around.
All right.
I can say that.
So
I'm a practitioner in the industry as well.
Very correct. So what are the current challenges? What are some of the challenges facing maritime education, and how do you think they can be addressed, Captain Ojutalayo?
Well, as usual, number one is funding.
Ooh, all right. We seem to have lost a connection to Captain Fola Ojutalayo, who is a senior lecturer with the Federal College of Fisheries and Oceanography. But of course, he'll be linking up with us, and then we can broaden this particular conversation as we're trying to reflect on how maritime education should be, especially as we seek to raise the next set of professionals. Are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Network.
The network knocked you off a bit there. So we were trying to just reflect a bit on the challenges that we have for maritime education. Just talk us through that again.
All right. I was saying that number one of it is funding. Usually, I will say that if we have enough funding, we will be able to solve several other challenges that are associated with maritime education in the country.
Right.
As we have it now, we still have a lot of deficits. Like I said earlier, the industry is technologically driven.
Okay.
So we need to get a lot of equipment for training. These equipment are not cheap. A lot of simulators, a lot of engineering, high-power engineering equipment for all the operational aspects of the industry. Of course, also we have development of various management tools, also software, management standards all over the world. There are ISO standards that need to be also integrated into the maritime system. When we talk about shipping operation and management, port operation and management, with its administration as well. So basically, if we have funding, all these tools, all these equipment and simulators will be acquired, which will enhance training. Another area is in the area of technical professionals.
Okay.
That we handle a lot of core technical courses to train our cadets. For us, it's not as if we do not have, but the challenges in that area is hydra-headed.
Why do you say that?
Number one in that aspect is that, you see, for government-owned institutions, these professionals in the industry, the mode of payment or their level of payment is different from typical ministry setting or federal government setting. So the attraction to come there, I think our government will need to look into that to be able to attract them.
But do we have enough? So? But do we have enough of these technical hands?
We could get more.
Okay.
We could get more. But when you have, all of them, I would say over 90% of them are attracted to go and practice in the mainstream of the industry. Then in the educational aspect, it will appear as if there's a dearth.
Right.
Of technical hands to undo that.
Okay.
So that is why we said, of course, we can pick from the industry. We can also start from there. But a highly paid person in the industry will not leave his lucrative job just to come and be a teacher. So we need to look into that area of also attracting them, or perhaps government looking into how to create a package that will attract these professionals to come into the industry to be able to contribute their own quota.
Right. So
educational development.
Right. So let me just jump in at this point. So, in terms of stimulating capacity and also taking it to some kind of higher frontiers, have we also seen the kind of exodus that has been happening in other sectors? I mean, we know in Nigeria, for instance, the medical sector, we've had the jackpot syndrome. In some others, we have people who are technical hands trying to relocate to other parts of the world just to also, seek for greener pastures. Is that the same with those of you who are more or less like lecturers within the maritime education sector?
Well, for lecturers, I will say that it is yes and no. Let me come to maritime education first. When you are talking about maritime education, I can tell you for free that the professionals who are in maritime education as of today in Nigeria, they are people who are just sacrificing to make sure they contribute their quota.
Okay, just hold on a second, Captain Fola Ojutalayo. Ojutalayo. The line is not very clear. Let's see if we can just reconnect with you and get a clearer line for the interest of our listeners this morning. This is Maritime Today, and we're looking at maritime education in Nigeria, bridging the gap for the next generation of maritime professionals. And we're doing this. Hello there. Are you there?
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So as I was saying,
it's better now.
Yes. Thank you. So as I was saying, majority of the people, professionals who are in maritime education in Nigeria, as of today, they are doing it sacrificially. It's not because of the pay or because of what they stand to gain.
Okay.
They must have left one or two things in the industry to come and focus in the area of developing our young people to be able to attain the level that they're supposed to attain in the industry. That is on one side. Secondly, in the area of Japa to other countries, generally, for professionals, I will say that for Nigeria, it is not as much as the other professionals in other sectors of the economy. And the reason why it is so is because Nigeria is so blessed that we have a thriving oil and gas industry. And oil and gas is one industry that attracts majority of our professionals in the maritime industry.
Okay, so
for that particular purpose, except the oil industry or a particular oil company just want to send someone out as an expatriate somewhere else. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, majority are still here. It does not also stop the fact that we have few who are outside the country, working in Europe, in Asia, and some other part of Africa.
All right, then. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. We're talking maritime education. You want to join the conversation, feel free. 080-99-120777 and 09153877127. Any questions for our guest, who's a senior lecturer within the maritime education space? You can feel free to join the conversation as well. But in taking that to the next level, maritime education and its relevance, especially, in terms of meeting the responsive needs of the industry, Captain Ojutalayo, what would be your response to that? I mean, those institutions, we know they are very relevant, but in meeting the needs of today, do you think the courses, the curriculum, are they reflecting that?
Of course, there is no issue about the curriculum at all. The beauty about the maritime industry is that the IMO, which is an arm of the United Nations.
Okay, just a second. Just a second, Captain Ojutalayo. I think there's this persistent caller and I want to respond. Hello there, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, what's your name?
My name is Kunle. I called the other program.
Okay, earlier on.
Yes.
All right, Kunle, you are calling from Fagba, right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Kunle.
I want to find out what are the career opportunities for graduates of maritime education in Nigeria, and what prior knowledge to have before they can, take a career in this field. Okay,
career opportunities for graduates, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for that one.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. This is somebody who's very inquisitive and would like to know what are the kind of career opportunities that we have for those that graduate from the maritime education sector. Captain Ojutalayo, maybe you can just respond to Kunle directly.
All right. Okay, I will. But I just want to finish the first statement I was making, which was that IMO has model standards for all programs in the maritime industry. And every nation key into that particular model to set up their own curriculum.
Okay.
So as per curriculum, Nigeria meets that. There's no issues at all in that area.
Okay.
Because whatever we are doing here is approved by IMO as well.
Right.
Through NIMASA, of course. Now, coming to career opportunities, there are several opportunities. I mentioned, indirectly I mentioned few others in the oil and gas industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, virtually every operation in the oil and gas industry is done by one type of vessel or the other. For instance, underwater engineering.
Right.
For instance, seismic survey. For instance, the carriage, the transportation of the oil, that's the crude oil, and the gas itself by oil tankers.
Okay.
And all these also have management and administrative entities, apart from the operational aspect of it. So all this provides a wide gamut of opportunities, career opportunities in the oil and gas sector. Now, coming into the public sector also, maritime administration, port operation is there. You can work with the ports. You have private port entities, ports that are concession. You can work with the maritime administration. You can work in maritime training institution as well. The custom has marine department. The police has marine department. The immigration has marine department. So there are several opportunities, career opportunities. We can go on and on.
Right.
And when he was talking about prior knowledge,
Yes.
you don't need any prior knowledge. Just come with your basic qualification, get into any training institution, start your career from there, go into the industry to standardize and to practicalize your knowledge, gain practical experience, build experience from there, and then you continue to build your knowledge until you get
All right. So
to
for
whatever level you want to get into.
yeah, so for Kunle and other parents that are listening to us this morning, they might be wondering, so children that are finishing from secondary school, can they come into those maritime institutions?
Of course, that's exactly what I just said. That's why I said that you don't need any prior knowledge apart from your basic qualification. When I say that basic qualification, I mean secondary school qualification.
Okay.
You want to go into Federal College of Fisheries and Marine Technology today or Maritime Academy of Nigeria or on today, all you need is your school cert. You know, if you want to go into management section, you can do your social sciences and field science course. If you want to do nautical science, which is navigation or marine engineering, it's pure science.
Right. Okay, then so
You must do your sciences at O level and you are good to go.
all right, then
It's
so
like that all over the world.
more questions are coming in here for you on WhatsApp. This one says, "Good morning. How significant is the marine industry to Nigeria's economy?" Onyeka is sending that one in. So how significant? Maybe you can just answer that in 30 seconds or 45 seconds.
Of course, maritime industry is pivotal. Nigeria is largely dependent on oil. As of today, 70% of our foreign earning, more than that, comes from oil. The current government is trying to diversify the economy to encourage manufacturing as well. But even manufacturing, okay, let me talk about the oil first. Like I said earlier, oil is being transported by ships. It's being transported by ships. The exploration, operational aspects I mentioned about underwater engineering, drilling, and all that, many of them are done by mariners or supported by mariners. Now let's come into manufacturing. When you manufacture, you export. And then you also import raw material to manufacture whatever you want to manufacture. All these import and exports are done by ships.
Right. And I know
shipping.
I know if
when you are talking about how relevant it is pivotal.
Right.
In fact, that is the pivot on which the economy of Nigeria stands.
Okay, then let's take some more reactions. Yeah, so this one says, "Good morning. It's good to have the maritime guys back on air. Please, what does the curriculum for maritime education in Nigeria typically cover? Thanks. Chris is sending this one in from Agop Palace Way.
Curriculum depends on what you want to do. If you want the technical aspects like the marine engineering, the nautical science has to talk about navigation. Of course, we cannot talk about the curriculum here. It's quite wide.
Okay.
Marine engineering has to talk about the engineering aspects of the maritime industry, especially of ships.
Right.
Of course, you see how the subsea engineering, underwater engineering, you have marine civil engineering. So all the curriculum are tailor-made.
Okay.
So whatever. And then we have the management aspect. In fact, the legal aspect is still there also. You have people who are specialists in maritime law.
In fact, and
you are specialists in economics,
right?
Maritime economics.
And I think that's the next question here from Sukomi. Sukomi says, how do students gain exposure to international maritime laws and practices? And I think that's just what you were trying to refer to there. One more question before we begin to wrap up things. This one says, are there specialized courses or certifications for different maritime fields? You didn't put your name. I would have loved it if you put your name. So do we have specifications like that?
Yes, I think I've also said that earlier. Of course, there are specifications. You have people who specialize solely on underwater welding, for instance. Underwater welding, that's a specialization on its own. You have maritime security. You have people who specialize on that. That's a specialization on its own.
Okay. All right. So
you have pipeline laying, for instance. You have buoy laying. There are several. You have navigation. Even in navigation, you still have specialization there. People who specialize on gas carriers, people who specialize on crude oil carriers, people who specialize on container ships, people who specialize on fishing. Fishing is a major part of maritime industry also.
Right.
So you have specialization. It's huge and it's wide.
All right. So let's begin to take this to the end of the program this morning, Captain Ojutalayo. The ministry is up and running, Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. But if you were to advise government on what we need to do to really build capacity for this sector, what advice will that be as we round up the program?
Well, the advice basically will be funding. Number one is funding. Number two is commitment to see that the industry achieves its optimum responsibility. What is required to do is maximize. It is harnessed to the fullest. And then number three, I will still come back to funding.
Okay.
So we need funding. We need commitment from government, and then funding and funding and funding.
All right.
The people are there to carry out what is needed to be done.
Okay, then we'll leave it at that for now. It's always a thing of joy having you join us on the program every time. Thank you so much, Captain Fola Ojutalayo. Thank you for linking up with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Compliments of the season. Have a beautiful day.
And you too. All right, then. So, maritime education in Nigeria, bridging the gap for the next generation of maritime professionals, has been our focus. And I can tell you, Captain Fola Ojutalayo, who is a senior lecturer, Federal College of Fisheries and Marine Technology, has taken us to the classroom this beautiful morning. We have to go. The program has been produced by Mike James, as usual. And I say big thank you to Rebecca Adamu, who is Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. I also want to appreciate all others that are working tirelessly behind the scene. The Nigerian Shippers Council is wishing everyone the best of this season, and they're praying that you keep safe at any point you are, even though while celebrating. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Bye.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit visit we office for number 4 Otuba Daily Show Your Day Lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468.
For you, we dey gidigba, gidigba, hey.
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanid.